All right, tonight's guest is a California-born dancer, actress, and singer-songwriter that is now based in New York City. After graduating from a performing arts college on the West Coast, she spent nearly a decade performing in LA before landing a gig on the Norwegian and Princess Cruise Lines for 2.5 years. After that, she moved to NYC to begin the next phase of her professional career, releasing her own music. She released her first single in 2019, which you just heard, titled California, which she says is dedicated to New York City and also to her desire for returning home someday. She has stayed in New York City and released 2 more singles, which you will hear later on the show tonight. With 1.6 million followers on TikTok, she is probably best known for her Subway Session videos, where she sings clips from anything from classical hits to contemporary pop to even game theme songs under a bridge in New York City. And it has amazing acoustics, which really help her awesome, incredible voice. It's a pleasure to welcome to the show, Raquel Rains. How are you? Good. Microphone is a little difficult to hear. Let's see. A little bit.
A little bit better if I speak into it like this?
That is a little bit better, but it does sound kind of far away.
All right. Trying to get there. Do you think that I should take them out?
Yeah, maybe just try the mic on the computer.
All right.
Ooh, now we have nothing.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Hey, there you go.
And I do apologize because I was late for the sound check, so that was totally my bad, and I'm sorry, everyone. But thank you for having me on your show.
It's all right. You're here now, and that's the important thing. We got it figured out.
Yay!
So I think you heard the intro, but I said that you were from California originally. Did I get that right? Were you born in California?
Yeah, so I was born in California. I lived there my whole life in a small little town called Lompoc, and it's in Santa Barbara County.
Okay.
And then I moved to LA. I lived there for eight years after I graduated high school, and I went to this performance college for 2 years, and then I went to LA for 8 years. Yep.
Nice. So before you went to the performance college, how did you get this bug, I guess, for singing or performing? Like, what happened when you were young that you were like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want to get a degree in this and do this forever.
Well, I've always really loved Disney movies, and I was just always belting out like songs from Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, and I didn't think that I was any good. I just knew that I really loved to sing, and I enjoyed annoying my older brothers. And I would say that, okay, one time in 6th grade when I was coming back from a field trip with my friend, we were on the bus, and I was listening to my CD player, and I was listening to Mariah Carey, and I was softly singing one of her songs. And my friend was like, "Oh, girl, you got a nice voice." And I was like, "Really?" And he said, "Yes, you sing so well. In fact, you should sing out loud everywhere you go." And I don't know why, but I took that to like literal heart. And I was singing on campus. And then I would walk around singing songs. And then in high school, people knew that I was the singer. In fact, one time there was a basketball game, and they always play the national anthem before they start. And there was just something in me that was like, you know what? Something's going to happen with that CD player, and I'm going to have to sing the national anthem. It was totally a main character moment, I'm telling you. Well, the CD player didn't play, and I just from the stands, I started singing the national anthem, and everybody turned to look at me. They were silent, and when I was done, they all just burst out into applause. And it was from that moment that I was like, okay, I guess I am a singer, and people approve, so I'm just going to keep doing this.
Wow. Had you practiced that at all up to that point? Because that song is a tricky song to sing.
It is tricky. Gosh, I don't know why I knew it, to be honest. No, it's not.
I don't even think I know the words correctly. I think there's some like words in there that I flub.
You know what's funny is they liked it so much that they're like, hey, why don't you sing it for us again? And then I completely forgot the words.
The second time around.
The second time around, and I was singing it, and then just out of the words left my brain, and I turned to the audience and I was like, I forgot the words. It was really embarrassing.
You're like, can we just play the recording from the first time?
Right.
Wow. So how old were you again when that happened? High school?
I was in high school, and I believe I was either a freshman or a junior.
Okay. And you hadn't, you didn't have a plan up to that point of like, this is what I want to do for my life. So, or did you like, this is what I'm going to graduate with and have to change those?
I did not, because I didn't know what kind of avenues, where I could even go singing. Just, I didn't grow up with singing lessons. I didn't grow up with being in shows or anything like that. I did grow up in church, and I knew that I was supposed to be singing for the Lord.
Right. Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yes. But I was also still like, as I got older, I wasn't singing as much in front of my family. And I would sing, kind of quietly in the congregation. And every so often, they would get me to do a solo, but I still was not believing in myself because I wasn't really feeling that kind of encouragement for my voice.
So how did you find out about this college eventually? Did you apply at different ones, or was this one that somebody told you about this? I forget the name of it. It's Pacific
Conservatory of the Performing Arts. Yeah.
Right. In Washington?
No, actually it was only like 30 minutes away from my
okay. Why? I don't know why I thought that was in Washington. I think it was something else if that was in Washington. So how did you find out about that school? Because it was so close to you? Because it was only 30 minutes away?
Because it was so close. And also there was that was the most credible theater that was close to our hometown. And I had a couple of friends go there, and I had to audition to get in. And because it was only, I think I got, my parents were okay with it because it was only 30 minutes away. I don't think that they would have been happy if I went somewhere really far away,
Right. Yeah. And then after that, you said you went back to LA for about 8 years or so. And you wrote on your bio on your website, you went back to LA to kind of hone your skills. What did you do in that time period in LA before you get on the cruise lines?
Yes. So here's what happened. After I graduated from the conservatory, I booked my first show as soon as I got out of school for a summer repertory theater in Santa Rosa, California. Okay. And I felt like, oh man, wow, look at this. They want me. I just graduated. And so I got my first job. I need to go to LA and become this amazing actress. And that did not happen. That my dreams did not come true. I had to work, I was working 2 jobs. I was trying to just succeed as a person surviving in LA. Mm-hmm. And I would go to auditions. However, they take a lot of your day because I wasn't union. So I was waiting around in cattle calls, long lines. I'd be lucky if I could get seen. So I did do a couple of theater shows, but they did not pay well. And I just started to get really discouraged. I was like, I don't know if I can keep this kind of lifestyle. So I basically worked my way from the ground up in community colleges to get my degree in psychology. Because I was thinking, if this music thing, the acting thing isn't going, I don't know where it's going to go. I want to at least have something else under my belt.
All right.
So, so I got my degree in psychology, and along the way, I would sing in the church at Valencia United Methodist Church. They always had me there as a guest vocalist. And then I started singing as a backup singer for an up and coming country artist, Abby Ann, and she was excellent. And then I started playing piano and singing at a steakhouse. So
Oh, okay.
over my course in LA, I would say that I kind of had to divide my time a little bit, where it was like really focused on singing, but also really focused on just working hard and trying to survive and make ends meet, and getting my degrees, and et cetera, et cetera. So I will tell you that I don't even know how they let me on that ship from my audition. They saw something in me that I truly didn't. I don't even think I was taking myself seriously that day. My friend and I were supposed to have lunch, and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Actually, I forgot. I can't meet you because I have an audition." And I was like, "What? I haven't been on an audition in a long time. Girl, let me go with you just for fun, right?"
Yeah.
And so I was like, "What's it for?" Anyway, she's like, "Oh, it's for Norwegian Cruise Lines." I was like, "I don't know what that is, but let's go." So I went with her to that audition, and I sang, and they loved it. And then it was time to dance. And I kid you not. So what they do in auditions, they teach you a combination, and it's, for me, I'm not that like trained or anything. I feel like I have two left feet, but they teach you a combination, and then they put you in like just like a group of three, and all the eyes are on you, and then you have to do the combination back in front of the panel. When it was my turn, I literally stood just right in front, and there were two people on the side of me just killing it with their dance moves. And I just stood there, and I was like, I don't know. I forgot this combination.
Okay.
I was like, I cannot do this dance. Like, and they called me back, and they said, "We'd like for you to join us on a contract on the ship."
Really?
Yes. And I was so ecstatic. Yeah. So, and it just took off from there.
Did you ever find out why? Like what? I mean, you just stood there and the other people were dancing. Like, did you find out why those people wanted you to come back? I mean, so I'll put this out there first. Your voice is incredible. And when we've talked before, like I've always said how great your voice is. So that I can imagine that was it. But if you didn't dance, they're like, she's not dancing, so we'll just let her on her voice. Like, I guess that says a lot about your voice.
Thank you. Okay, so that is probably part of it, but I'm going to tell you the last secret.
Okay.
So as I was walking out, I said, just so you know, I'm in a position right now where I'm really not stable in a home, and I could get on that cruise ship, and I promise you, I'm not going to be begging to go home, because I don't have one right now.
Right.
And I said, if you hire me to be on your ship, I will learn the dances, I will learn all the songs, and I will be such a hard worker. I would be so grateful to have this job. And I walked out.
And that was it. And they're like, well, I guess that.
I think that last bit of me selling myself, saying how dedicated I was, and just willing to, put myself out there for the job, I think that was what really sealed the deal.
Right. Well, hard work and talent. I mean, that's they want that kind of commitment going into it. So you had that. You're saying, I won't leave the ship. And then just knowing that you will work hard to kind of do whatever if you get the gig. I think that's everything that you want. Commitment, hard work, talent right there. So, well,
yeah, because
that's awesome.
Being on a cruise ship, away from your friends, away from your family for 6 months to 9 months at a time is really difficult. And a lot of people aren't able to, succeed because it's mentally draining on you. You feel disconnected. So I think that they were used to people maybe not really completing the full contract.
Wow. And you were really out to sea for long periods of time, like 9 months at a time, because I forget how big the ocean is, and it takes a long time to sail to some of the places that you've gone to. Like you said, Japan, and I can't even remember the whole list on your website, but yeah, that's a long time on a boat. Does it mess with you?
Definitely, especially if I didn't keep my mind active, if I wasn't exercising, if I didn't have a routine, because it's easy to sleep in, wake up when you want. It is crucial, to keep up with our bodies, because we had costumes to fit into. I had to keep up with my vocal training, because I wanted to make sure I was keeping like my voice ready to go for the shows. But yeah, and not having immediate access to like my close friends and family, because on that ship, we had to pay for our own. I can't remember if it was minutes or if it was by megabytes to call home, but that was expensive, So sometimes I was like, I don't know. And it wouldn't always work. Like sometimes the connection would be so delayed and then you'd end up spending money and it wasn't really like working,
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's something. So my girlfriend and I love terrible reality TV. It's just something that we like to watch. And there is a reality TV show, I believe it's called Below Deck, which it follows these charter people who are, part of a crew for a charter ship that people can rent out. And there's always drama. So was there a lot of drama on the cruise ship with people that you work with? Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yes, especially because it's like we're all right on top of each other. Oh my gosh. Luckily, the singers, we had our own cabins, but a lot of the other staff and like the dancers, they had to share cabins with people. Oh, there we go.
Still here. Yeah.
All right, good.
All right.
Yeah, we had to, they had to share cabins with each other, so there was really no privacy. So for some of them, and then like getting on each other's nerves, not really being able to escape anywhere, and not to mention lots and lots of love things going on, and lots of breakups would happen, and lots of like, hey, you were up in the crew bar with so-and-so. What was that all about?
Wow. Okay. So the reality TV show is not too far from reality. Like it actually is. There is drama on the boat.
Yes.
I mean, it's a big boat, but it's not big enough, and you have to see these people a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
So what eventually caused you to move from there to New York City? You said on one of your YouTube videos that you wanted to get your sea legs again, but I have a feeling there had to be something else involved.
Yeah. So after I completed my contract with Norwegian, I booked my contract with Princess Cruise Lines, and that was a 17-month-long contract.
Wow.
So
okay.
What that was like, so the first contract was about 6 months, and then I'd had a break. I'd go home, I'd visit my parents for 1 month, and then I'd go right back out to another ship. And that one was another 6 months, and then another 1 month break, and then go back out for like, I don't know if it was 5 or 6 months, but after that, back to back, I was like, okay, this has been so much fun. I got to see so many beautiful places of the world that I don't think, if I didn't have that opportunity, I don't think I would have ever been able to do that. So I am so grateful for that and all my experiences. But I was like, I want to put my feet on ground again. So I had saved up all of my money pretty much from working on the ship. We didn't have to pay for room and board. We didn't have to pay for food or anything like that. So I just took my lump sum, and I thought to myself, well, I don't have to go back to California right away. Where do I want to go? And I thought, I want to go to the greatest city in the world, New York City.
Wow. So how'd your parents feel about that? I mean, they wouldn't have been excited about you going to a college far away, and here you are on the other side of the country. But I guess if you had spent time on a ship, they got kind of used to not seeing you much.
Yeah, I think they got used to it, but it was still very hard. I think even my dad was like, you had to move all the way across the country just to get away from me. So I think, and it was really, they were really worried and concerned about me. Even my dad, like I caught him looking on YouTube, like people of New York, like living in New York, just trying to get a little glimpse of the experience. Because, I mean, all we really saw when we were growing up, it was about New York was in movies, and usually it was bad things, happening in New York.
When we were growing up, it wasn't a great time for New York. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like you would see people getting mugged, even the news would show bad things. And not to mention the snow when the weather was crazy.
Yeah, California girl out here in the snow. That's tough, huh?
Exactly. So they were really concerned, but I feel like I've always been the kind of person that is like, I'm a free individual. You know, this is my life and I'm going to live it. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to go. And I don't know if that sounds a little selfish now that I think about it, but
No, I don't think it is. I mean, at some point you have to not grow up, but you have to like say, okay, this is going to be my life. Like I have to, do what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So no,
yeah,
I don't think it's selfish at all. Do you think you will stay in New York City for a while? Is that home now, or is this just does that
it's,
California song keep calling you back?
oh my gosh. That is so hard because when I think about California, I miss my friends, I miss my family, I miss
Mm-hmm.
my nieces, my nephews, I miss seeing them grow up. And I also feel like I'm really enjoying my growth as an individual in New York City. I feel like I'm really finding who I am and not allowing any kind of maybe restrictions or what I was brought up with, what I thought I had to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like I'm rediscovering me in the way that I want to be.
Mm.
And I think that there's a little part of me that worries, can I still be that if I go back to California?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would going back to California and living there make me feel almost like a new or a different person, or would it make me go back to who I was? I don't know.
No, yeah, that's interesting. I'm from Oklahoma originally, so I wonder sometimes, like, would going back to Oklahoma just get me back into the old habits that I kind of grew up with, just because it's there, right? Like, that's just what's around you, and you just kind of fall into it. Or could I still be my own self if I ever went back? But I'm never going back, so that that answers that question. Real quick before we get into your songs that you've made so far and kind of some other things that you've been doing in New York, you did do some performance on stage. So which do you like better? Do you like singing or kind of performing and acting better?
Gosh, I don't know. I really, really, really enjoyed performing. I enjoy performing theater, and I feel like it allows me to be, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like they are different in the sense, being an artist or like a musician, it's so vulnerable, and I really have to show who I am, and that is scary for me. And I would rather be a character or a character of myself and put that on stage, because it's less scary. And my whole life, or my whole, like, I would say performance career, I've been told you need to be more vulnerable. You need to let people in and see you for you. It just, I don't know. It scares me. It really does. So, I mean, it's hard to say. I know that performing is like super hard.
Right. Yeah.
And whereas, like, okay, if I'm a musician, singer, I'm in the recording booth. I love that too. Like, just being solo, I can lay it all out into the microphone, but I also miss that interaction. And I feel like I am giving more when I have an audience.
Yeah. Wow. And it kind of goes back to what you were saying, like, you don't want to go back to California because you don't know if you could be the independent self that you are now. And you really feel like you're kind of discovering who you are now. So that's all great. So let's get into some of the music that you are making. So we are going to play your newest single, which came out just a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I would say last month, maybe.
Okay, last month. And it's called Who Is It You Love? So do you want to tell us something about that really quickly? We can talk more about it on the other side of the song, but just to set it up for us while I get it queued up, is there anything you want to say about it?
I want to say that my amazing friend who lives here in New York City, we actually knew each other back in Lompoc, California as kids. now we both live in New York City, and he is a music producer, a singer, songwriter. Anyways, I started to get a little more press with TikTok taking off, and I called him up and I was like, bro, people are asking for my own music. What should I do? And he's like, come over immediately and we're going to keep this song going. And so this is what transpired.
Okay, awesome. Here is again, Who Is It You Love from Raquel Rains.
I've been waiting for you to tell me all the things that I want to hear. And you know how I adore you and how much I really need you. I've been playing this game for too long. I've been silent, I've been patient, and I've been strong. I wanna share you and everything. It's not fair. Tell me, who is it you love? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me, who is it you love? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Took a while for me to figure out. I was blinded by your charms, but I see you now. I'm not afraid to let you go. I'll ask again, so I'll let you know. I've been playing this game for too long. I've been silent, I've been patient, I've been strong. I don't wanna share, you're never there. It's not fair. Tell me, who is it you love? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me, who is it you love? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Is it her or is it me? Hate to make a desperate plea. Tell me, what's it gonna be? Tell me, who is it you love? Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me, who is it you love? Tell me, tell me, tell me.
All right, now that's a bop, really.
Hey, thank you.
So, how long did it take to come up with that? Did you write that all, or did he had written that previously, or what's the background? Or
Yeah. So, my friend Anthony, he came up with the chorus. So I showed up and he was like, all right, I just keep hearing this. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Like he just kept he was like, I just hear that. So we were like, okay, well, that's the hook. And so he was like, here's a piece of paper. Here's a pen. Now we're going to write the verses right now. Wow. So I kind of, I was gauging off of him. I was like, well, what do you think? What's the background story? What's going on here? What's happening? So we wanted to leave it open pretty much for the first verse and chorus. Like at the end, it says, is it her or is it me?
Right.
But in the beginning, it's like, it could be, someone could say it about whatever it is that they want, whoever it is they love. It could be for a guy, it could be for a girl,
Right. Yeah.
So Yeah, we just worked it together. Both of us were like working on the verses and bouncing ideas off of each other. I would come up with something and he would say, oh yeah, okay. And then he would build off of that. And then we kind of just intermingled.
Wow. And it took all of a couple days, one night?
It literally took like several hours.
Oh, that's still pretty incredible to come up with a finished song like that. I mean, that you would have to produce and record, but just in a couple hours, that's
yeah.
great.
So the lyrics, and I recorded my vocals and like the kind of ad lib sometimes in there, just that day. And then he worked on it for a few days, you know, producing, making sure like the beat, everything was nice in there. He added background vocals as well. So yeah, I would say like over a span of few days, he really musically produced it, but we wrote it in a few hours.
Wow. That's incredible. Nice work. That's really great. So I don't know if you can see the comment, but on YouTube, Rachel said that she loved the song, loved the vibe, and said that you really do have a beautiful, beautiful voice. Couldn't get that out for some reason. I agree. I've said a lot of times and told you that your voice is incredible, and that song really highlights it. You also do vocal coaching, right? That I saw on your bio. One of the things we'll talk more about, like how people can get involved with that. But one of the things you said on YouTube is that you think singing for people is a lot in their head, right? Like they just have to overcome this block in their head to sing. I have to tell you that that's not the case for me. There's definitely something else that's stopping me from singing anywhere close to that well. So what do you mean that it's a block in your head, and how do you help coach people vocally?
Okay, so let's just take your example right off the bat, because
it's bad.
I truly feel that everybody can sing. I believe that it takes a lot of time and dedication. If singing is something that you love, you're going to take the time to learn your scales. You're going to take the time to focus on your vocal technique. You're going to take the time to learn how your voice works. We all have a voice. And I think we get in our heads sometimes about comparing ourselves to other people, successful artists, musicians, singers that are out there. And then we think, gosh, well, I'll never be as good at them. Why should I even try? And I feel like having that kind of negative mindset automatically shuts a person down from being free and giving themselves permission to go, woo, you know?
Right, yeah.
And it's like, I know that that's a really silly sound, but you know, somebody might judge themselves and they might, I don't want to do that. That's a weird sound, you know, but that's like, I feel like that's getting in one's own way. That's like having a mental block that like, you're already judging yourself because you don't want to make that kind of sound, and just play and see, well, what can your voice do?
So who would have thought that your background in psychology would have been helpful in a little bit of your music? But
Exactly.
I think some of that comes from being on the stage too, right? Because when you're on stage, like that sound you made, I could imagine how that could be in a couple of musicals, right? Like where you would have to make these sounds while singing and dancing and remembering your lines. So I wonder if that background really helped you be able to access that ability and help other people find it.
Absolutely. I will say that my training at PCPA really, it broke us down in a way that we kind of had to forget ourselves as like a person with these rules that, you know, you can't do weird movements, you know, like you can't contort your face into weird ways, you know. It was really physically, you know, we would wake up really early, about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, have class at 8, and we'd be done late in the night, excuse me. But we were working on ourselves and being vulnerable with each other and opening ourselves up to come to a place that we could produce sounds that we didn't even know were in us.
Wow. And how do people sign up for vocal coaching with you? You're on an app, and I'm not supposed to mention the app because people are being shadow banned on that app. But there is an app that we are on and that I originally found you on. But I see you doing vocal warm-ups on there a lot. You've been in a lot of different rooms vocally. Is that the main way that people can sign up to have you as a vocal coach, or is there another way that people can do that?
Sure. I mean, you can send me a personal email. I read all of my emails, even on DMs on Instagram. I would prefer if you just, right off the bat told me that you wanted coaching, because sometimes I get guys in there that are just asking me out on dates. So those ones I'm really quick to delete. But so if you want vocal coaching, just let it be known right away, or else I will delete.
That's good. Good call.
Yeah, I've worked with people of all ages. I had a 10-year-old client. I've had an 8-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And I've even had adults too. So I'm also a part of, I don't know if you know about another app. I won't say it because I don't know. I don't want to bring anything. But anyways, we're part of a voice care room. And I sit on a panel with other voice coaches. And we all come from different backgrounds. And I'm learning so much, not only, from them, but people of all kinds of singing capabilities come on the stage that we have there and let us know how they need help. And so the more people that I'm exposed to with like their troubles, their challenges, and their struggles with their vocal journey, I now feel like I can approach them better with this experience, knowing like, oh, well, this worked for so-and-so. Let's try this with you.
Right. Yeah. And that's one of the rooms that I think I've seen you on the app is the warming up your voice in the morning and stuff like that. So I keep meaning to pop in, but the mornings are a little hectic for me. So,
okay.
You said earlier that country is your favorite. Well, that you've done country. You recorded or sang with somebody who did country, but maybe it was on YouTube that you mentioned that country was your favorite genre. Is that really true?
One of my favorite genres. I really do love them all: musical theater, pop, soul, gospel. Country is just so beautiful to me because.
Okay.
Yes. And it's me. I remember my very first time being, to my knowledge, exposed to country was one of my brother's ex-girlfriends at the time. She played Garth Brooks' Wild Horses.
Okay.
And the violin that's in that song was just so moving and so beautiful. And then also with most country music, I don't know. I don't really listen to today's country music. I'll be honest. I love old country, like even, not even that old, but like Carrie Underwood. Right. I love outlaw country, Pistol Annie's, Miranda Lambert, like those Blake Shelton, but Garth Brooks. I love Loretta Lynn, Patsy Cline, but they bring so much, like different harmonies and different voices and the instrumentation, like the way that the slide guitar is like the, I really love that like melancholy music too. Oh. It gives me a mood,
Wow. Okay. So I'm trying to think of some of the subway sessions, which we'll talk about in a second. I can't remember any country songs that you have sang on that. Is that true? Or have there been, I've just missed them?
Yes, I have. And guess who commented on one of my videos? She said, it's Sarah Evans, the queen herself. She's a famous country singer. Okay. She commented on my TikTok video and she said, sing a Sarah Evans song. So I said, okay. And I sang her song, Suds in the Bucket.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if you know that one. She left the suds in the bucket and her clothes hanging out on the line.
I don't know that one. I don't listen to as much country as I should, but I grew up with it, but I don't listen to I like the artists that you're talking about earlier, like Garth Brooks and even George Strait and them, but
I'm saying the Judds, they have a song in there called Why Not Me? And there's another, I sang Pistol Annie's, which was, I can't remember the song, but I have sang a couple of country songs. And then I even did it's like a country version of Going Down to the River to Pray.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So before we get into your third song, And before we talk about kind of unrequited love songs on our playlist, let's talk about the Subway Sessions, because 1.6 million followers on TikTok. My daughter is now one of them. I mentioned that you were on TikTok. She's like, oh, I'm going to follow her. I think she actually left a comment on one of your videos. So she's following you now. She's joined the crowd. These videos are really, really amazing. How did you find this subway that you're singing underneath? Don't tell us the address, because I think everybody will try to come find you. But how did you find that bridge one day and like, oh, this could be amazing acoustically to sing under?
Yes, and thank you. I just want to give a quick shout out to your daughter, because she came into my live stream and said, I'm so excited that you're going to be on my dad's show. And I was like, yes, girl. So she is awesome. Love that. Hey, girl, what's up?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so, okay. How I found it was over the pandemic. So I'm a registered behavior technician. So I work with kids. And because of the pandemic, my hours changed, and the kids were home more often because, you know, school was not in session. They had to stay home.
Right.
So I started showing up at my client's house at 8 in the morning every day. And I think being that early, you know, going on my way to I was going to work, it was a little quieter too. So I was my ears were open. And by the way, like, I literally do sing everywhere I go. I'm that crazy girl that will walk down the street and I'll just be belting out The Wizard and I. So I was, and I had bought a little electric scooter because I didn't want to take the train because it was so, you know, the pandemic. So I was on my way in the morning and I'm singing la 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 la, and I go underneath that subway, underneath the bridge. And as I'm going under there, I just hear my voice reverberate down underneath, you know, under that tunnel. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? I stopped immediately and I was like, hello. And it echoed and I was like, no way. And I was like, yeah. Like, I just started belting it out. Sounded so good. And I was like, oh, I sound like a superstar under here. These acoustics and the reverbs really smooth out all my rough edges. So
people pay a lot of money for that kind of space in the studio.
Oh, exactly. Yes. So I pulled out my phone and I was just thinking, let me see, what does this sound like under here? So I recorded myself and I put it on to TikTok, and people were like, wow, that's really cool. Can you do this song? Can you do that song? Can you do this song? And I was like, oh, wow, I'm just going to keep coming here. And the more and more that I was having requests to do songs, I started kind of adjusting myself even, you know, I'm like, oh, well, if I stand over here, this echo is going to sound even better. So yeah, that's how I discovered it. Just like a lot of trial and error too, like figuring out where's the best place to stand. Have
you found the perfect spot?
I have, yes.
Okay. And I love in your videos, you can see people walking in the background. Like this is happening like right then, right? This is not something that was set up. You didn't block people off. Do a lot of people talk to you and come up to you and be like, what are you doing? Or like good things, bad things while you're recording it?
In the beginning, nobody would really come up to me. People would just usually walk on their way. They still do, you know, it's New York City. So people mind their business here, that's for sure. But I would say, like, when I really started to grow on TikTok after I reached over 100K is when people would start to come up to me and they said, hey, I follow you. You're really good. Like, and people like, even people that don't follow me, they'll walk by and they'll just like give me a thumbs up, or they'll look at me and smile, or and be like, yeah, nice. I have not had one negative person say anything bad to me. Yeah.
I don't know what they could say. There is nothing negative to say really about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it's like almost understood. It's a public area. So.
Right. And how many takes do you do? Because when I record stuff for Instagram, like promo videos for this, it takes a lot of takes. But do you do this just one take usually?
Sometimes it is one take. Now I do give it a little bit more. In the beginning, I would just do one and then I'd listen to it later and be like, I think that's okay. But now I do multiple takes, especially when I play it back and I'm like, did I really give myself here, you know? And I'm not embarrassed too much about it. You know, there have been times where I'll like start singing a song and a big old crack will come out. Imagine hearing the crack like reverb.
Just echo throughout
everywhere. I run. I like go away from the middle of the tunnel or the bridge, and I'm just like, oh, let me let that finish for a bit, and then I'll come back.
Do you? One more question about. Do you have a favorite that you've done?
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking. I really love it's and I can't even really remember the name, but it's from it's called Isabella's Lullaby, and it's from an anime, but it's beautiful vocalization. There's not even any words in it, but it just sounds so like beautiful and haunting. So it's called Isabella's Lullaby.
Okay. All right. The command you have over your voice it's really great.
Thank you.
It sounds amazing. So I hope everybody follows you on TikTok, and you also kind of repost them on Instagram. I'm not cool enough to be on TikTok, so I'm not there. They're really great. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. Really great vocally talented, and it really comes out there. I guess keep it up for as long as you can, right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. It's so fun for me, and it makes me feel good to know that people, like I get people in my DMs all the time that are like, I've always loved to sing. I've stopped singing because, you know, I'm an adult now and I feel like I have these responsibilities and I feel like I've kind of had to put my passion for singing by the wayside. And it's just like, you can still sing, you know? I mean, you don't have to be this world-renowned singer to enjoy singing. If that's what you like and you like sharing your voice with the world, just do it, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's awesome that you're also encouraging other people to do it. That's so great. All right. So we'll hear the third song from you. You have 3 singles out right now, and I want to talk more about kind of the direction of where you see your music going after this song. But this song is the second one you've released since being in New York City, and it's called Love Don't Live Here Anymore. You want to talk about it really quickly before we play it?
Sure. So a podcast story, it's a series. They reached out to me and they said that they needed a title song, like an intro song for their story that's called Love Don't Live Here Anymore. And it was actually my first time writing a song for a podcast like that. And so I thought, I'm just going to call it, like, name it what it is. And I sat in my little apartment and I just was on my piano and I started looking around, and I actually was kind of going through something. I was not seeing this guy anymore, and I was looking around, and, you know, he actually did help me out with that apartment. He had installed some shelvings, and I saw like flowers, like I had put these flowers that got me on the wall. So I just started looking around and I was like, wow, love really doesn't live here anymore. And so I kind of wrote it about him.
Okay. Well, here is Love Don't Live Here Anymore by Raquel Rains.
I see dead flowers in the veins. You were too busy to replace. I look at the shelves you nailed on the wall. I can see you everywhere, but I can't feel you at all. Love don't live here anymore. Love don't live here anymore. Love don't live here anymore.
Love don't live here anymore. I gave too much of myself, that's for sure. And I don't want to spend my life alone, but I know I shouldn't always feel this low. You left my heart frozen in the cold. All I ever wanted was for us to have a home, but I guess that won't be so. Trying to forget you, drink after drink, hitting control, I'll delete on my memory bank. Guess I have you to thank for making me the person I am today.
Love don't live here anymore. Love don't live here anymore. Love don't live here anymore. Love don't live here. Love don't live here anymore. Love don't live here. Love don't live here anymore. Love don't live here. Love don't live here anymore.
All right. Again, another amazing example of your voice there. It's not unmuting your mic for some reason. Oh, there it is. All right.
Thank you.
So who was the male vocal, or I guess kind of rap on that track with you?
Yeah, his name is Kevin Speaks, and he's a hip hop artist, and actually the producer of the podcast linked us together. I didn't even know him. He said, "Hey, I would love him to be on your song, so make it happen."
Okay.
So I said, okay. So I added in some extra bars there of the piano, and then he filled it in. But he's awesome and really amazing.
Yeah. Do you still keep in contact with him? Do you plan to do any more collabs?
I haven't actually spoke with him in a while, but I know that he's doing really well in the music industry. Sometimes I'll see his posts on IG.
Oh, okay. All right. So it was the second one you released. But I think all told, it's been like 2019 was your first one released, and now 2021. So what is the future with your music? Do you plan to release more songs kind of faster, or do you have, EPs or stuff written, planned?
I go through this with myself. This is one of the things that I really do struggle with a lot is writing my own material. I mentioned earlier that I struggle with vulnerability, and I feel like that Who Is It If You Love was a really nice, dance track that's fun. People can vibe to it. I think I would really like to put something out there that really bears my soul and kind of shows a little bit more of my dark side too. I feel like we all have a dark side that we try to suppress sometimes. And I would like for people to know that it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. And even though we're not okay now, we will be. That's just life. And so that's going to be my next goal. I want to put a song out, but I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet.
Okay. Do you think the plan is the plan just singles for now until you have kind of the album built up, since it is so hard to kind of write your own music?
Yes, I would say singles just for now. One of my goals, I will say, and I'm going to put this out there so that I can have some accountability, is I have always wanted to make a Christmas album.
All right.
So even if it's, stripped down and it's just maybe a piano and bass and then me singing maybe 3 to 6 Christmas jingles, I'll be content with that. But this year, I'm going to put out Christmas songs, and they're going to be available on Spotify. I'm putting it out there.
Okay, good. Now you have to be held accountable because it's been spoken into kind of space here. So
yes.
Well, good. I look forward to that. I've had a lot of artists on the show who have done either a Christmas single or kind of a Christmas album. So I think it's a great way to help get content out there while you're working on some of your own stuff. And who doesn't love a good Christmas album?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk really quick. You talked about this Dark Side musically. The playlist theme for this week, I'm going to play some more songs from it. That Unrequited Love, Lonely Love is what I called it. So, like, you know, what that second song we played, Who Is It You Love, like kind of gets to that. Like when you love somebody and they don't love you back. Do you have any favorite songs for that theme?
Ooh, I would say Bonnie Raitt's I Can't Make You Love Me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love that song so much. When just pouring your heart out to someone and knowing that they'll never love you back, like that's just not where they're at. And that is one of the most heartbreaking feelings, I would say, is when somebody truly you're in love with someone, and then when they change it, you know, or something happens along the way, and it's just like, that's not here anymore. I can't make you love me if if you don't want to. So I would say that song.
That is such a good song. It's on the playlist because I think Carrie Kirkland from last week, she sent it in. A couple other people off Instagram told me to put it on there. I've loved it. I love the Bon Iver version. I talked about this when I had the podcast back in like January with a guest. We had breakup songs, and I put that song on there. But Bon Iver, he didn't put it on Spotify, so you can only find his version of it on YouTube. And then there's other covers of that song too. But you're right. That is really like, it's super sad when you are just pouring out your love to this person and you just realize you can't at the end of the day. There's nothing you can do to make them love you. Like that's really, that song hits in a different way. So yeah, it's a favorite of mine. And I think I'm actually going to play the Bonnie Raitt version in a little bit. That might be the next song on the playlist. So that was a good setup for it.
Yeah. Well, I have one more too.
Good. Yeah, no, definitely.
It was originally sung by the Beatles, but I love the Carpenters version because Karen Carpenter's voice is just so stunning. God, rest in peace. It's called Ticket to Ride. Mm-hmm. And it's about how he doesn't want to be with her anymore because he can't be himself. And I just love that so much. He's got a ticket to ride and he don't care. Right. Yeah. That's the lyrics. And so yeah, that one's another lonely and love song.
You know, it's so funny. Like when the Beatles sing it, it doesn't seem that sad because it's got that kind of upbeat to it, and they're like, popping around while they're singing. Yeah. Yes. But, you know, when you think about it, it's kind of a sad song.
It is. Listen to her sing. It's beautiful.
Oh, does she bring it down a lot?
Yeah, it's a slower ballady type song.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you so much for coming on the show. I want to say really quick to everybody listening. So there is a virtual tip jar in the link on my the bio on my Instagram account, Music from Friends. If you want to show Raquel a little bit of extra love and support, please give a little bit in that tip jar. You can do it via Cash App, and starting this week and from here on out, you can do it on Venmo too. I realize not everybody has Cash App. So 2 ways to tip Raquel. You can do it on Cash App or Venmo. Anything you give would be appreciated, just to say, hey, you're doing great, love what you're doing. And I give everything back at the end of the week to her. I hope that there's a lot in there for you at the end to show you some love and support. You're doing great things, and I hope you keep it up. What is the name of your website? Because it's not RaquelRains.com. It's something else that I love, actually.
Absolutely. Yep. It's called Sings in Public.
It was so funny when I was doing research about you. I was like, I just typed in your name. I'm like, well, that didn't come up. And then that website. So I clicked on it. I was like, oh, that's clever. So singsinpublic.com.
Yep.
Great photos on there. Some cool videos, I guess, of you singing on the cruise ship and everything. So that's really, really fun. And on Instagram, you're _ Raquel Rains.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about the underscore. It's somebody else had my name on there.
What? And then on TikTok, what's the TikTok?
It's Raquel Rains.
Okay, no underscore. So that's really the one that where you get a lot of people following you there. Good.
And make sure you guys come into my DMs. I really do try to answer people back as much as I can, as long as you're not asking me out on a date. And I do try to do requests. So yeah, please send them to me.
Okay, good. And don't think that you're sliding in craftily being like, hey, can you do this song? And it's like a love song about somebody or something like that.
Right.
Like, she's heard that before. Okay, that doesn't work.
Oh, you know what? I do want to say this actually before we go. I'm doing this thing now where it's special dedications, and I'll put it on my TikTok. So if you're like, oh, I want to do this love song for my wife, can you give her a shout out? Contact me and we'll talk about it.
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind. That's good to know. All right. Perfect. So thank you again so much for coming on the show. I'm glad we made it. We made it work. I don't care that it was late. We got here eventually. That's okay.
Yay. Thank you. And I apologize so much.
No, it is fine. It all worked out. It turned out great. So, and that's the beauty of live radio, right?
Yes.
All right. I'll keep in touch. I'll keep following you, but thanks again for coming on. I'll see you later.
Bye.
All right. Bye.